Thank you for staying with us. Now, let's take you live to the Apiati community as more help continues to pour in for victims. Maxwell Agbagba is there for us. Maxwell, which individuals and organizations are in the community currently?
United Nations Interagency Working Group on Emergencies also here. So what you can see in your shot right now are the officials of NADMO going around with members of UNICEF, WFP, that's the World Food Program, and all of that, going around the community and doing some assessment. I have the team lead here with me, Christopher Nkrumah. He's going to tell us what their mission is here in this community. Christopher, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you. Okay, so our mission here today is very simple, and as the UN Interagency Working Group on Emergencies, we are here to, first of all, empathize with the community. We've heard the news, but then we hear personally to empathize with the community and also engage the affected population as well, so that as UN has been supporting government's efforts, we want to see what needs we can fill, or what gaps we can fill as the UN Interagency Working Group on Emergencies.
Okay, so which of the agencies are here? I've seen UNICEF, I've seen the World Food Program, I've seen the UNFPA.
Sure. So as you rightly said, we have IOM also with us, UNICEF, UNFPA, WFP. So the others, we know that WHO has already been here because of the urgent need for some medical assistance and supplies.
Okay,
yeah.
so after the preliminary assessment, what are we expected or likely to see?
Okay, so even as we came with some supplies.
Okay.
So the supplies, we have some medical items for the hospitals that is treating those who have been injured. We also have some water and sanitation kits that we want to donate to the displaced population. We also have some educational materials as well. So from here, we will just go to the new site and do a handing over of those things to the municipal NADMO team and the assembly so that it can be distributed to the affected population.
And I'm sure after this assessment and the needs that you identified means more intervention is going to come for the people.
Yeah, sure. So that is the essence of our engagement with the people here, so that once we are done, we know that one of the key things that will be much needful is the provision of psychosocial support for everyone, but especially children. And I know through our coordinating efforts, we'll be able to ensure that is done. And any other things that we find out, we go and brief the resident coordinator, the other interagency working group partners, and then we firm up on the key next steps.
Okay, thank you very much for talking to us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so Maps, you just had a team lead for the United Nations Interagency Working Group on Emergencies, Christopher Nkrumah. Now we have with us the Deputy Director for NADMO, Saji Amedonu. He's also here. Deputy Director General for NADMO. He's also joining me to tell us what their role is also here. Sir, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you.
Great. We want to find out what the role of NADMO is also. We know you are the center of all of this. We want to find out what you're doing here today.
Okay. At the moment, as the team lead for the interagency group, the UN Interagency Group on Emergencies said, we had a joint meeting about 3 days ago. And we shared our rapid assessment information with them. And through that meeting, we all agreed that there's a need to do a follow-up assessment, which is actually still a rapid but a needs assessment. So we are now going to zero down on the specific needs that will be temporarily needed. Needs that will be also needed in the medium to long term. So in sharing that report, that is where we give them in the information that apart from the food items we have, there was some there was a need to actually target children, mothers, and the female too as well. So immediately, some of the agencies working under the UN Interagency Working Group on Emergencies had some supplies, some dignity kits, and by dignity kits I mean things that toothpaste, toothbrush, sponge, sanitary pads, and all those things, and diapers, and all that. So quickly they were able to mobilize something, and yesterday we were able to provide something. This morning they brought some as well. So the essence of this mission is to actually ascertain the needs beyond what we have already done. Today, I mentioned on Sunday that a new place was being prepared for the displaced persons to be moved to. Thankfully, it is going to start today. They weren't able to start on Sunday. Thankfully, it's going to start today.
So the resettlement is starting today?
Part of it is starting today. We will have our last meeting there with the items that was brought. Because this time we are going to be targeting families. We want to try as much as possible to start putting them in the groupings in which they were when before the incident happened. So basically that's the essence of. So at this process, yes, we are at the recovery stage, but we still have things that will have to make life comfortable for the people. We still need to provide those things. Water, for instance, is also needed, but there's already a supply of water to them at the safe haven where they are. So that's it. So the itinerary basically is we are doing another round of assessment in here. We are going to engage with the displaced persons briefly and find out how they are. And you also know that the Ghana Health Service has provided some of their nurses and staff who are standby and helping out. Then from there we'll go to the new site, have our last meeting there with all the agencies, the incident command set up with all the agencies with the municipal chief executive as the head. Then from there we'll wrap up our work for today.
Interesting. You say when they move to the new shelter, they're going to be put into family units?
Into groups, into
families?
Not exactly families. You know, in a community, there's a certain arrangement where we can say family, but maybe extended and all that into smaller units. I think the appropriate word would be now smaller units, so that you can be able to now zero into specific needs and attend to them. And that is where they will be able to now start, trying to do things normally, the way they were doing it before the incident happened, like cooking and a school is also, they are working on arrangement for school to also start because there was a primary school that was affected. And some of the other needs that we also identified when school reopens, what happens to the children. So things like, educational materials, bags, and all those things also come in.
Yeah, I know that NADMO is also doing its investigations as part of, what has happened. The security agencies are also doing an investigation. I don't know if NADMO has any updates on its preliminary findings or anything that you want to publish.
No, I've said that our mandate is more with dealing with the humanitarian issues that comes out of a disaster. As to the investigation, the appropriate institutions are doing it, but the investigation itself, the process of the investigation and the result of the investigation, that is a report of the investigation, especially the recommendations of the investigation, will be of serious importance to us as an organization, because our work starts from prevention. I've always said our disaster management work starts from identifying risk, reducing the risk. Then in the unlikely event that a disaster happens, we go in to respond. We go and respond and rescue people. Then we do the recovery and finally do our reconstruction.
The question on, finally before you go, the question on the minds of many is that, is Ghana prepared for disasters, if there should be one, if any happens?
I think Ghana is prepared in the framework and the structure we have. We have a functional disaster management organization. We have structures established by law to deal with disaster management. And I've always said that we have a structure at every local assembly where you have the district chief executive or the municipal chief executive chairing a disaster management committee that has all the agencies represented at the assembly on that committee. And also the law also allows them to co-opt any other person they feel can render some service or contribute to the kind of situation they are dealing with. And mind you, their major mandate or their major preoccupation as a disaster management committee is to come out with what we call a disaster management plan. In that disaster management plan, the localities' hazards will be identified. Then the risks will also be identified. Then they look at measures. So in the assembly's planning, in terms of even construction, in terms of even siting a market, in terms of siting schools, in terms of all the activities that that is carried out in that particular municipality or district, they look at ways that they can reduce risk. Because you see, you can never predict to the exact point when a disaster will occur. We have man-made disasters and we have natural ones. Some of our activities contribute to making disasters happen. Those ones we have control over. So I think this particular incident and the reports that will come out from the investigative committee will help us to now see how we can handle such things better, so that this will not reoccur.
Okay. Thank you very much for talking to us. Great. So you just heard from the Deputy Director General for the National Disaster Management Organization, Seji Saji Amedonu. Now let's show you. Let's show you what is happening here. You remember that the explosion that happened created a huge. There was a huge crater in the middle of the road. That crater that was there has now been worked on. As you can see, there are still some construction workers still trying to complete the work here. So as it stands right now, that crater, it's no longer there. The crater, we are told, was deep because that was the exact site of the explosion. So the vehicle that was carrying the explosives was parked somewhere here, just some distance away from where we are right now.
Maxwell,
but right now,
Maxwell, we understand the lands minister will be there.
Then the vehicles will no longer have to use the stretch which has been rerouted for them. Now they'll use the main road. So this is the main road. Let's try and see if we can speak to any of the people here, any of the people who are in charge of this place. Let's see if they will speak to us. Let's get some update on the road. Well, it looks like that is not going to happen. That is not going to happen. But this is what it looks like now. When the incident happened, the crater was so deep that if you're standing afar, you couldn't see the bottom of the crater. But now it has been leveled, and very soon it will be asphalted, and then the road will be put back into its original shape. That is what is happening here at Apinti. But just about 150 meters away from where I'm standing, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, who is also here in this community, will be addressing the community members. So in about 5 minutes, we should get that, Maps.
All right, that is my colleague Maxwell Agaba. He's live at Apinti, where that explosion happened in the western region.